On the new season of OutDaughtered, it seems like there might be trouble in paradise for Adam and Danielle Busby. All marriages have their share of trials and tribulations, but the Busbys are experiencing plenty of growing pains as their daughters get older. This season, it seems that the problems are getting to be too much for Adam and Danielle to handle on their own. In the new episode, Danielle will give Adam an ultimatum as she demands more help from him. Keep reading to learn more. Adam and Danielle Busby have too much on their plates. People obtained a sneak peek of the upcoming May 14th episode. And it seems like Adam and Danielle Busby are not at all in a good place. The family is preparing for the new school year. As the girls get older, they're interested in more activities. Sadly, Danielle feels like she's doing the lion's share of the work and desperately needs Adam to help out more. The couple realized they both had work commitments on the girls' first day of school. That leaves the 6 Busby girls without a parent to get them to school safely, on top of their extracurriculars. At some point, Adam, with your schedule getting busier, I'm in and out always, around, everywhere, I feel like we need it, Danielle explains to her husband. I need some help. We need some help. The Busby matriarch explains in a confessional they have discussed hiring outside help. However, it just never happened. Danielle claims the situation became more complicated as the girls got older. We are pulled in multiple different directions, at multiple different times, and we just can't keep up with it, she continues. The family matriarch drops an ultimatum on Adam in the preview. Danielle Busby seems to think the children need a nanny or a driver, but she's not quite sure what they need yet. However, Adam doesn't like the idea of hiring an outsider to help manage the girls' schedule. Danielle counters and says the only other solution is for one of them to stop working, which will make it incredibly difficult to support their family of 8. If you don't want me to hire someone, then you better step up your game, she tells her husband, delivering the ultimatum. It's unknown how the Busby family will proceed from here. But it's clear that this season, Adam and Danielle's marriage might have its share of hurdles. What do you think will happen? Will they hire outside help, or will someone quit their job? Share your thoughts in the comments. New episodes of OutDaughtered air each Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time on TLC. Tune in and see how the Busbys manage to work out the kinks in their marriage while parenting the girls. The sky was a soft gradient of lavender and pink as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a serene glow over the Busby household. Inside, however, serenity was a distant memory. The rhythmic chaos of bedtime routines with 6 children, including 5 energetic quintuplets, filled every corner of the house with noise and activity. Danielle Busby, matriarch of the bustling clan, felt the weight of the day pressing down on her shoulders as she navigated the whirlwind of toys, bedtime stories, and bathtime squabbles. Adam, can you please help me with the girls? Danielle called out, trying to keep her voice steady as she wrestled Hazel into her pajamas. Adam Busby, her husband and partner in this adventure called parenthood, was in the other room, distracted by a work call. His job as a photo and video producer often pulled him away, leaving Danielle to juggle the myriad demands of their large family. Danielle had always prided herself on being capable and resilient. Raising 6 daughters, 5 of whom arrived simultaneously, was no small feat yet. The daily grind was beginning to wear on her. She glanced at the clock, 8:30 p.m. The girls should have been in bed by now, but they were still buzzing with energy. As she brushed Olivia's teeth, she couldn't shake the feeling that something needed to change. When Adam finally hung up the phone and walked into the living room, he was greeted by a sight that had become all too familiar: Danielle, looking exhausted, with the quintuplets running circles around her. Blake, their eldest, was trying to calm down her sisters, her young face showing signs of strain that should have been far beyond her years. "Hey, Danny, sorry about that call," Adam said, rubbing the back of his neck sheepishly. "It took longer than I expected." Danielle looked up, her eyes meeting his. She wanted to tell him it was okay, to brush it off like she always did, but tonight something stopped her. The words that had been bubbling under the surface for weeks finally spilled out. "Adam, I can't keep doing this on my own," she said, her voice a mix of frustration and desperation. "I need more help. The girls need more of you." Adam's face softened as he took in the exhaustion etched into Danielle's features. He knew she was right. They had been living in survival mode for too long, each of them caught up in their responsibilities, barely taking a moment to breathe. The realization hit him hard. He had been so focused on providing for the family financially that he had overlooked the emotional and physical support Danielle and the girls needed. "You're right," he said, moving closer and wrapping his arms around her. "I'm sorry, Danny. I know I've been absent, even when I'm here. I promise I'll do better." Danielle leaned into his embrace, the tension in her body slowly easing. It was a start, but she knew that promises alone wouldn't be enough. They needed a plan, a tangible change in their routine to redistribute the load more evenly. The next morning, over a rare quiet breakfast, they sat down together to map out a new approach. Danielle suggested setting up a shared calendar where they could block out time for both work commitments and family activities. This way, Adam could better anticipate when he needed to be home to help with the kids. They also decided to designate specific nights where Adam would handle the bedtime routine, giving Danielle some much-needed respite. "Let's also look into hiring some extra help," Adam suggested. "Maybe a part-time nanny or a mother's helper who can come in a few times a week. That way, we can both have some breathing room." Danielle nodded, feeling a glimmer of hope. The idea of having an extra set of hands sounded like a lifeline. They had always been hesitant to bring in outside help, wanting to be as hands-on as possible, but it was clear that their current approach wasn't sustainable. In the following weeks, the changes they implemented began to take effect. The shared calendar became their lifeline, helping them coordinate and communicate more effectively. Adam made a conscious effort to be present, stepping away from work calls and projects during critical family times. He took over the bedtime routine on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and they hired a part-time nanny named Grace, whose calm demeanor and experience with children were a perfect fit for their family. With Grace's help, Danielle found time to breathe. She used the extra hours to recharge, sometimes indulging in a quiet bath, other times catching up on her own hobbies that had long been neglected. The weight on her shoulders began to lighten, and she noticed a positive shift in her interactions with the girls. She was more patient, more present, and found joy in the small moments again. Adam, too, felt the difference. By being more involved, he strengthened his bond with each of his daughters. The bedtime stories he read to them became cherished rituals, and he found himself eagerly looking forward to these moments. The girls, in turn, blossomed under the combined attention of both their parents, their behavior improving as they felt more secure and loved. One evening, as they sat together on the couch after the girls were finally asleep, Danielle looked over at Adam. "Thank you," she said softly, "for stepping up and being here. It means everything to me." Adam squeezed her hand, his eyes filled with gratitude. "Thank you for pushing me to see what needed to change. We're a team, Danny. And we're going to get through this together." Life in the Busby household would always be a whirlwind of activity, but with their renewed commitment to each other and their family, Danielle and Adam found a balance that worked. They learned that asking for help wasn't a sign of weakness, but a strength that allowed them to be the best parents they could be. And in the midst of the beautiful chaos, they rediscovered the love and partnership that had brought them together in the first place.